Hello, my name is Kevin Duncan and I'm one of the scientists working for Croda, and today I'm going to talk to you about viruses. So what can you tell me about viruses? A virus is a microorganism which infects cells in our body and can cause nasty diseases. Viruses are everywhere. They come in different shapes and sizes. They are very, very small. But how small do you think? Imagine if a person was the size of a virus. How many people do you think you would be able to fit on the end of a pencil rubber? It's about 3.6 billion people. That's about half the world's population on the end of a pencil rubber. That's how small viruses are. But what do you think they look like? It's quite difficult to work out what viruses look like because they are constantly changing and evolving at different speeds. Why don't you have a go at drawing one? And what do you think a virus needs to survive? So scientists have managed to look at some of them and they come in all different shapes and sizes. Here's some cartoon pictures. Which one's your favourite? They look very silly, but they are not far from the truth. Here's some graphics of actual viruses. This first one is HIV, with little spiky spines on the surface to stick to the cells. The next one is a coronavirus. Again, it has little blobs on the surface to help to attach and enter cells. This next one looks a little bit like an alien, but it's called the bacteriophage. It looks a little like a little weird insect. It has very long legs and arms. And this final one is rabies, which is long and spiky. So you can see there are lots of different shapes and sizes and they cause a lot of different diseases. But how do they work? Let's take influenza, common flu for example. We are made up of loads of cells in our bodies, and this is what a virus likes. The flu virus is covered in little spikes and travels towards a cell. These spikes attach to the outside of the cell surface. Once latched on, the virus is granted entry through the cell membrane. The virus wastes no time in releasing its nasty genetic material into our cells. This hijacks the cell, reproduces the cell's reproductive system, forcing it to make millions of virus copies using the little gene it released. These new evil viruses leave the cell and spread to other parts of the body looking for other cells. To take command of a cell, the virus needs to be really strong, but not so strong that it damages the cell's ability to function. Our body does protect itself through the immune system with things called antibodies, which prevent the virus from spreading. No one really knows where they came from, and scientists called virologists are debating the origin of viruses. But they're everywhere. We can't stop them entering our bodies. We probably ingest about 1 million viruses a day, but many of them are harmless. There are a few ways viruses are transmitted between people. Can you think of any? It happens in lots of ways, but the most common is sneezing and coughing. Others include where you touch a surface or putting your hands to your mouth or your face, through animals. How can we limit or stop the spread of a virus? Vaccines that catch the virus at its source are difficult to develop, so keeping the flu bug at bay rests in our preferably washed hands. And when it comes to sneezing, remember, it's always into the elbow. So let's do an activity. We're now going to look at what happens when we wash our hands in two different ways, with just water or with soap and water. What do you think happens with each? Which do you think is the best way to wash our hands? Firstly, we are applying a special UV gel which helps us to see where the germs are on our hands. This shows up blue when we shine a UV torch on our hands. This will allow us to see how many germs are removed when we wash without soap and with soap. So let's see what happens. When our scientists wash their hands with only water, we see there's loads of blue left on their hands, which means there's massive amounts of germs still there. You will notice the areas where it's even more clear, around the creases in your fingers and on the edge of your hands. When we use soap and wash thoroughly, we can completely remove all the blue. This means the germs are successfully removed. So let's take a look at a summary of our results. Hopefully you will have seen that before washing your hands they were very white. This means they were covered in lots of germs. But after washing your hands properly with soap and water, they were removed. This helps prevent the spread of any nasty viruses. But you shouldn't worry. Most of the germs on your hands are fine and can actually boost your immune system and help those antibodies know how to handle some of the germs. Hopefully you have lots of questions that your teacher can help you with. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.